Welcome to the USN broadcast, USN Broadcasting Channel's broadcast of USN Baseball's opening day. Today the Tigers will be taking on the East Nashville Eagles. My name is Reed Murray, and alongside me is the one and only Dr. Fitz. Here for the opening day, we've done an intra-squad scrimmage for the Tigers so far this season. This is the first official game, as yesterday's game was rained out. And how great is it to be here today for the first Tiger baseball game of the year?
Opening day is one of the great days of the year at every level of baseball. And when you have as close an affiliation with a team as we do with the USN Tigers, it's all the sweeter. Could not be more excited for today's game.
Yeah, today we have Owen Block on the mound for the Tigers, and the rest of USN's lineup reads like this. The leadoff batter, Mahoney Donick at center field. Owen Block, the pitcher, will be hitting second. Nathan Woodard is the catcher, hitting third. Hitting cleanup, designated hitter Aiden Savona. Then Townsend Stevenson at third base. Colin France playing first. Freshman Grant Riley at shortstop. Harry Fitzgibbon in left field. Quinn Powers at second base, and Brock Burgess in right. Game is about to start as now they're throwing the balls into the dugout, ready to deal the first pitch of the season. And stepping up to the plate for the East Nashville Eagles is Lawrence Griffey. Owen Block gets ready to throw the first pitch of the game. He's throwing from the stretch. And he deals the opening pitch. And it is swung on and missed. 0-1 count for Griffey. Gets his signs for the second pitch, the 0-1 pitch. And it's a ball high. Griffey steps back into the box. Owen ready to deal the next pitch. He comes set. And he looked at it and it blew right by him. Strike low in the strike zone, but a really well-placed pitch, and it's a 1-2 count now. Block has some pitches to work with here, and we might see some kind of low or outside ball to try to get Griffey to chase it. Swung on and missed, and that is the first out of the day, first out of the season, as they throw it around the infield now. 1 out.
Love that he went to the fastball there. He threw something breaking pitch on the 0-1, missed the strike zone, but Griffey had no answer for the fastball on the first two pitches, first two strikes, and Owen got it past him for the third strike and the strikeout.
And now the first baseman, Ace Watson, one of the coolest names I've ever seen commentating sports, steps in the left-handed batter box. And it's going to be a ball outside. It looked a good pitch. The umpire didn't quite agree, and he calls it a ball. The 1-0 pitch. And he looked at that one. That time it's called a strike. High strike, but he painted the corner of the strike zone there, and it'll be a 1-1 count. Watson steps back into the box. Owen taking his time to receive a sign from Woodard behind the plate. 1-1 pitch, swung on, and it looks to be a foul ball. It goes out of play, 1-2 count now. So once again, he was in a 1-2 count last time. Here he is again. Got some pitches to work with. He can afford to throw one away and try to get the hitter to chase it. And we'll see what he does. The 1-2 pitch, it's going to be just a bit high. 2-2 count.
Some kind of off-speed pitch there, tried to fool him. I didn't see a lot of movement on it, though. It looked like maybe just a changeup that he missed up high.
Yeah, and you might expect to see a curveball here, but he is throwing to a left-handed batter as a right-handed pitcher, so we might want to see another fastball here. That one going to be swung on and missed. Strike 3 is a foul tip into Nathan Woodard's glove, so he retires the second batter of the day, and now we have 2 outs. Stepping into the box now, Deshaun Campbell, the catcher. Campbell, one of the bigger guys on this East Nashville Eagles team. We'll see if Owen tries to throw some low pitches here to keep him from getting a hold of one. First pitch, high, swung on and missed. 0-1 count.
Yeah, sometimes when you see a player, you know what position he plays without even looking at the sheet. This young man is built like a catcher. He took a mighty swing. That's a lot of bat speed on that first pitch, but he was well behind that fastball from Owen.
Yeah, he's really swinging for the fences here. We'll see how Owen deals with it. And the 0-1 pitch is right down the middle. Perfect strike. And he watched that one go by. Looked like he was amazed by the accuracy and speed of that pitch. So now it's an 0-2 count. And he strikes out the side, swung on and missed. That is strike 3 and out number 3 for the USN Tigers. So they go 3 up, 3 down in their first defensive inning, or defensive half of the inning of the season. Really good showing for Owen Block. The rest of the Tigers, can't say much about them because they didn't get much experience, but just strike after strike for Owen. Struck 3 batters out in a row. That's about as good as it gets.
Just the way you'd want to start the game. Really clean, easy inning for the defense, obviously. The ball was never put in play, and it can be really demoralizing to the offensive side when they don't even put the ball in play. And we'll see if it snowballs into a long string of strikeouts for Owen as the game develops.
Yeah, momentum's certainly on the Tigers' side here as Owen completely mowing them down in this first half of the inning. And now we step into the bottom half of the inning. And like I said earlier, I read the lineup earlier, but we have Mahoney Donick leading the Tigers off, Owen Block as the second hitter, and Nathan Woodard coming in as the number 3 hitter.
So I'm seeing the pitcher is number 1, I think. Right-hander, kind of a little, certainly, understandably a little less pace than Owen has.
Yeah, that is Lawrence Griffey on the mound, warming up for the Eagles of East Nashville. He struck out. He was the Eagles' leadoff batter. Not every day you see a pitcher and a leadoff batter be the same person, but that's what we got today for East Nashville.
He's not a tall kid. He keeps the ball down, or at least he's doing so in his warm-up pitches. And, that's a great way to be effective as a pitcher. Force a lot of ground balls. Keep the ball in the infield. Really limiting for the opposing offense.
Yeah, and so far, not a great sample size that we've seen of his pitches, but from what we've seen so far, some of them seem to be, he's throwing him inside and outside. He's throwing him low, certainly he's keeping that consistent, but not really hitting all the same spots over and over again. So you're right, he could be throwing some pitches that'll result in ground balls, but I mean, you look at this field, it's a grass infield, grass all around, just a little dirt around the bases, but that's it. And it was raining yesterday, so a ground ball in the infield could die early, and that could result in some sneaky singles by the Tigers. And we could also see a few walks. So as long as Griffey's on the mound, we might not see the explosion of some doubles and triples, but I expect to see some consistent trips to first base for USN.
I played golf this morning, which I'm sure will interest no one, and the ground was not as nearly as beautiful a plush green as we see here. It was more of a baked out brown, but the ground was still very wet, and the ball would land and not roll very much. And I would imagine on an infield as pure as this one, that once the ball gets on the ground, you're not going to see a lot of roll out of it.
Yeah, when you get to the bottom of this Tigers lineup with some speedy players like Grant Riley, Harry Fitzgibbon, Quinn Powers, and Brock Burgess, you might be able to see some of those balls that die early. You might be able to see some runners beat those out and get to first base. Owen Block, another guy who's got some serious speed on him. So it'll be interesting to see that. In the first scrimmage of the season, Owen Block had a huge day at the plate. He almost hit the cycle. He had a single, double, and a triple. Unfortunately, he was not able to get that home run. But he had a really good day there, and we could see some of the same from him today.
Hopefully he's saving that home run for the regular season. Wouldn't mind seeing it in the second at bat of today's game.
That would be a great thing to see. Now they throw it down to second base, so the inning is just about to start as East Nashville finishes their pre-inning warm-up. Freshman center fielder Mahoney Donick, who's wearing number 19 today, he steps up to the plate. First high school at bat, and it's the first at bat of the season. Interesting to see a freshman be first in the lineup, but you can tell Coach G has got a lot of confidence in the young center fielder, and we'll see how he does here. First pitch of the day for East Nashville. It'll be inside, but called a strike. I don't know if I agree with that call, but the umpire saw that as a strike, and it was a low inside pitch. So I guess he did paint the corner of that strike zone there. Griffey deals the 0-1 pitch. He watches that one go by, but it's a low outside strike, so 0-2 is the count here. Two pitches that I probably would have watched myself if I was in the batter's box, but the umpire calls them both a strike, so now Mahoney Donick is in a serious hole. Throws that one inside, and he had to get out of the way so it didn't hit him. 1-2 count.
I like what I see from Griffey so far. He's really putting the ball in places that are very difficult for the batter to get to. He's a little bit ahead in the count still at 1-2.
The 1-2 pitch swung on, and it's hit to third base. Mahoney Donick's going to try to run it all the way out, but the throw is there in time, and he's going to be out. One out for the Tigers. Good contact in his first high school at bat, but not good enough to reach first base. Looks like that was Chaz Adkins, the third baseman for East Nashville, who threw him out, if I'm looking correctly. And now the pitcher, Owen Block, steps up to the plate. And the first pitch, it's a high pitch. Block had to duck, and it's a 1-0 count. The 1-0 pitch. That one hits the plate, 2-0. Owen probably not happy with the pitches he's seen so far. He's a guy who loves to hit the ball, so he wants to see something come right down the middle, I can imagine. And here's the 2-0 pitch. That one high, but the umpire liked it, 2-1 count. I imagine Owen wants to get a pitch a little inside here. He seems like the kind of guy who could really rope one down the left field line. The 2-1 pitch. And that one's going to be outside. 3-1 is the count now, so this is a count Owen can really work with. As a hitter, you love to get a 3-1 count because you know a pitch is most likely going to be coming right where you want it. So let's see if that's what happened. If that happens here. The 3-1 pitch, and he rips it into the second base shortstop hole, gets by the shortstop, and Owen will reach first base. It was a high and inside pitch, not the best. But Owen decided to swing at it and made the right decision, and now he's on first base.
Yeah, being scored a hit could have gone either way. The shortstop was able to knock it down but not field it cleanly. And I think Owen might have beat it either way. So it's being scored a hit.
And it should be. There was a bobble from the shortstop, but he did deserve to make it to first base. Would have made it there anyway, most likely. And now Nathan Woodard, he gets the 0-0 pitch. It'll be a ball outside, 1-0 count now, as Owen Block is on first base.
Certain minor league feel to the broadcasting booth. More intimate.
It's appropriate. Also, minor league broadcasting happening.
Sure.
Owen Block taking his lead from first base. He didn't steal last time. We'll see if he does this time. Takes a big lead. Ball gets by the catcher, but it's picked up just in time. Decides not to take second base. Good decision. Now it'll be a 2-0 count on Nathan Woodard. Nathan Woodard, another one of the bigger hitters on this team. And imagine he loves the sight of a 2-0 count. Got a decent amount of RBIs in their first intra-squad scrimmage of the season. And now the 2-0 pitch is going to be high and outside. 3-0 count now. Probably not going to see a swing from the catcher here. So Griffey threw two good pitches early on to get Donick behind in the count, but now his accuracy seems to be fading away. 3-0 pitch. It's going to be low, and Nathan will walk. Runners on first and second now for the Tigers. And stepping up to the plate is the DH, Aiden Savona.
Now, Reed, you know Coach G very well. He likes to play the small ball. Are you going to have your cleanup hitter lay one down here with one out, first and second? Or is he going to be swinging away? What do you think?
Well, if I was Coach G, I don't know that I'd be having Aiden bunt, but you never know. Coach G, like you said, he loves to play the small ball. You never know what you're going to see from him. So we could see some risky play here, but I think he's going to let Aiden swing. Owen taking a big lead from second, not really being held on by the middle infielders of East Nashville. Ball hits the dirt. Owen thought about going to third base, and he didn't. We did not see Aiden square around, so it looks like we're not going to see a bunt here from the DH.
Special welcome to members of the Harley-Davidson motorcycle community who have joined us today.
I don't see many of those around here.
Owen once again taking a big lead from second. Pitch high, swung on and missed. 1-1 count.
Owen was trying to score all 3 runs there real quick. That was a big swing. Just got a little bit of a foul tip.
So now it's a 1-1 count. Griffey taking his time. Now he deals. Pitch is low, and it'll be a ball. Owen going to steal second base, or third base. He gets there, and now he can go home, and he will. The throw went over the third baseman's head. And they try to throw out Joseph Ozen as he is the courtesy runner for Nathan Woodard. Owen Block is going to score, so it's going to be 1-0 USN Tigers now. We had a pass ball. Owen and Joseph both decided to steal. They tried to throw Owen out. Bit of a questionable decision since Owen was really already there by the time the throw came. Went over the third baseman's head. They tried to get it in time. Owen scores. Joseph advances to third base. And now we have a 1-0 ball game. Two-1 count. Aiden swings, and that one's going to go into left field. He makes a diving catch. No, it looks like he missed it. So another run will score. Joseph then comes in and scores the second run of the day. Aiden Savona's ball to left field. He made good contact with it. The left fielder dove, thought he had it, didn't get there in time. So now we have a runner on first base and a 2-0 score. Stepping up to the plate now is Townsend Stevenson, number 5 hitter. Ball low and outside, 0-1 count, or 1-0 count on Townsend.
Catcher nearly threw another one away there. He's struggled here in the bottom half of the first. That return throw to the pitcher, short hop the pitcher, almost got away from him.
And the catcher having to do a lot of moving around behind the plate. A lot of the pitches are going wayward, and he's having to get exert some serious effort to make a catch. Now the 1-0 pitch is going to be low, so it'll be a 2-0 count now for Townsend. Townsend, another guy who really loves to hit the ball. So he's hoping to see one come down the middle here. And he tries to pick off Aiden, gets there in time. No throw was eventually made. Griffey just stepped off the rubber, hoping to catch the runner napping, but Aiden knew what was coming. His lead wasn't too big anyway, and he got back in time. And another pickoff. This time he will once again not throw it. Just wanted to step off, just wanted to keep Savona guessing at first base. Really just trying to get Savona's jersey dirty here, and he's done a good job of it. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. 3-0 count as that ball was once again low, that time in the dirt. So now Townsend probably not going to swing at this 3-0 pitch. And they're just going to try to get a runner on first and second here. Takes his time, the 3-0 pitch. High, and it'll be another ball, so second walk of the day for Griffey. And we have runners on first and second. Still only 1 out. Now the first baseman, Colin France, will step into the box. Aiden and Townsend on first and second base. We could see a bunt here from Colin. We got a big lead from Aiden on second base, but the second baseman's keeping him close. Ball in the dirt once again. You know, you're talking about those low pitches, and you're right. A lot of times a pitcher throws low will lead to some ground balls, but so far a lot of these are not even hittable. A lot of these are hitting the plate, hitting the dirt, and the catcher's struggling.
Yeah, 2 walks always makes it tough on the defense as a whole, and the Tigers have done well going down and getting some of those low pitches, roping them into left field. They've been effective against Griffey so far.
Ball gets past the catcher, and now runners will advance to second and third. That one was low. It bounced right near France's feet. Went back to the backstop, so now Townsend will advance to second. Aiden advances to third. 2 runners in scoring position, and now we'll have a meeting at the mound.
Yeah, if I was Coach G, I would be very inclined in future situations to try to test this catcher. Coach G likes to steal anyway, and this catcher hasn't really shown a lot of the signs of experience behind the plate, being able to get down, block low pitches, confidence throwing to third base. His 1 throw to third base went into left field. So that's a situation that the Tigers might try to exploit as the game goes on.
Yeah, and I think if it was later in the game and the game was closer, we might see a squeeze here to try to get that run home. But we've only got 1 out. It's only the first inning, and the Tigers are up 2-0. So they don't seem to be struggling too much. They don't need that run desperately, and they're probably going to get it anyway. So we might not see too much bunting and stealing going on early, but you never know. Obviously, in a game like this, it's the first game of the season, and it's a game that counts and it matters, but you do want to try some things out early on in the year. That ball is going to be high and inside. So it looks like it's a 3-0 count now on Colin France.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Reed. After Mahoney was retired to start the game, 4 straight runners reached base. I wouldn't want to give away any of my outs here. Make them earn all the outs. They've struggled to do that so far.
That ball is popped up. Catcher's going to try to get it, but it will go into the back netting. So 3-1 count now. And you're right, you do want to make them earn all those outs, as they do seem to be struggling to get them. And if you can get some early runs, then you can get, if you can mercy rule the opponent early, that's always a good thing. You don't want to drag the game out. So if you can put them away early, that is a great thing to see, and it's something you really want to do. So runners on second and third, 3-1 count now for France, and he swings at that one. It'll go to center field. It's going to be caught. Runners did not tag up, and now they're going to get a double play. Townsend did not go back to second base. The ball was caught. He tried to get back in time, and he couldn't. So that'll be outs number 2 and 3 all on the same play. So they earned that out, and now they go into the second inning down 2-0. Coach G probably not going to be too happy about that one.
In Townsend's defense, it sort of looked at first like it was just going to be a line drive base hit to center field, but the ball just sort of floated in the air for a minute and was quite easily caught by the center fielder while Townsend was in no man's land between second and third. It was a really easy double play after that.
Yeah, and especially when we saw what happened in left field earlier where the ball looked pretty catchable and it was not caught. Reasonable to assume the center fielder wouldn't have got that, but you always do want to make sure you tag up just in case, especially when you got runners on second and third. And that is a mistake. But like we said, it's early in the season. This is the time you make mistakes. Better to make a mistake against East Nashville early on than to make one in an important district game or a playoff game or something like that. So the Tigers will learn from that one, and I imagine Coach G will make a teaching moment out of it. So we head into the top of the second. Owen Block obviously still on the mound. Throwing, as we look at his warm-up pitches, some serious velocity on the ball, in stark contrast to that of Griffey from East Nashville. Same players on the field for the Tigers, no lineup changes as we head into the second, as that was a really quick first inning on defense for USN. He throws the final pitch of the warm-ups, ball thrown down to second base. That will be the end of the warm-up. And now we head into the top of the second inning. USN with a 2-0 lead as we head into the second. Jordan Houston, the left-handed DH, steps into the box for the Eagles. Another guy, looks like a big hitter. Looks like he could drive one into right field. And the first pitch of the count will be a little high. Looks similar to the pitch that was called a strike on Mahoney Donick. So some questions about the umpire's strike zone here early. But he wasn't a fan of that one. And here comes the 1-0 pitch. That one is going to be high, but swung on and missed. 1-1 count. Similar pitch. That time Houston decided to have a hack at it, and it's a 1-1 count. Houston and a couple of these other East Nashville batters really seeming to crowd the box, get in close on the plate, and try to make that strike zone as small as possible. Interesting but good strategy, especially for a guy who likes to pull it. 2-1 count now as that ball was low. A decent pitch, a good miss, but a miss nonetheless. And yeah, if you're a guy who likes to hit opposite field, maybe this isn't the strategy for you, but if you're somebody who can really pull it, if you're a lefty who can really drive one into right field, stepping up in the box and shrinking that strike zone is a good call. And now Nathan Woodard walks over to the dugout. Looks like there's a problem with his glove as he tosses it to an assistant coach. Not quite sure what the issue is. There's probably some kind of some sort of string in his glove that came undone, something like that.
You could see after the previous pitch that the ball had become stuck in his glove. He had to sort of slap at it to free the ball from some of the webbing, and probably just as you said, a string or two came loose. He'll have to go to the replacement.
So now he comes back behind the plate, ready to play again. Not quite sure if he's got a new glove or if it's just the same glove that's been fixed. Looks like it will be a new glove, as now Owen throws him a ball or two to get it loose, get it warmed up, and get him used to it. So it looks like it is his backup catcher's mitt. As we can see in the dugout, they're doing some maintenance on his main glove. And now Houston steps back into the box. Here's the 2-1 pitch from Block. Swung on and missed. Another high pitch. Owen throwing him high, but two of them have been accurate enough to draw Houston to swing at it. So he's doing well here from the mound, and it'll be a 2-2 count now. That one right down the middle, and he retires Houston. Kind of surprised Houston didn't swing at that one, as that is about as perfect of a pitch as you're going to get. But he watched it go by him, and he pays the price for it as now he trots back to the dugout.
Four consecutive strikeouts for Owen. He's looked really sharp. As you said, even the pitches that missed, they could have been called strikes. So he's throwing with a great velocity, as you pointed out, but also really pounding the strike zone.
Now Chaz Adkins, the third baseman, will step into the right-handed batter's box. The first pitch is a strike right down the middle. Another one of those perfect pitches. Looks just like the third strike we saw last at bat. Really well placed. And it's great to see from the sophomore arm. The 0-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. Another high ball. But he swung at it. And we have an 0-2 count now. Owen doing a great job of mixing in pitches that are right down the middle and then a couple of those outside in the corner to draw swings. Great job of Owen so far working these counts. And here comes the 0-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike three. Another strikeout. That's 5 straight for Owen. And this is about as good as it gets for your debut in the season.
Owen, an excellent pitcher and hitter, as we pointed out. Also, I don't think he would mind my saying he's a great math student. Very few of us are as good at baseball and math as Owen and myself.
And Chris Smike steps into the box. He fouls that one off, so an 0-1 count. Fouled that one into the dirt. So now Owen heads back to the mound. He's got an 0-1 count to work with. And we haven't seen a lot of breaking balls from Owen. He hasn't really had to use them, as so far his fastball has been pretty effective. But it'll be interesting to see if he gets some going here. That ball is going to be inside. Smikes had to step out of the box a bit, so that one didn't hit him. And it's 1-1 count now.
I like the philosophy of keeping it simple. You know, he's really been effective with the fastball. East Nashville's shown no ability to put it in play as yet. And it's probably a little easier on his arm than the curveball. Keep up with the fastballs till they force you to do something different.
1-1 pitch right down the middle. He looked at it go by him, and it's a 1-2 count. You're right. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It certainly is not broke so far for Owen Block, and here comes the 1-2 pitch. That one looked like it was in the strike zone, but the 1-2 pitch called a ball, so it's 2-2 now.
The whole left side of the infield was charging towards the dugout. They thought the inning was over. They thought it was a called strike 3, but the umpire didn't see it that way.
And I agree with him. I thought that one was going to be a strike, especially on a 2-strike count, but here comes the 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. 6 straight strikeouts. He struck out every batter he's seen. So the fielders, obviously when you're in the field, you want to get some action, but I can't imagine they're complaining about this. Great 2 innings from Owen Block. So far, he has been lights out. Looks impossible to hit against, and East Nashville really struggling as now they head out to the field for the bottom half of the second inning. So in the bottom half of the second inning, we're going to see Grant Riley, Harry Fitzgibbon, and Quinn Powers as the first 3 batters. After that, it's Brock Burgess, the right fielder, and then we're back to the top of the lineup. Griffey still on the mound for East Nashville. And his warm-up pitches, he seems to continue to throw them low and outside.
Yeah, sort of a telltale sign of a young catcher. You know, you see when the ball bounces in the dirt, he sort of turns his head to the side to try to protect himself, which of course the equipment is meant to do. So you know he's not yet well versed in the art of blocking low pitches, and as we were talking about before, could lead to some natural suspicions about the rest of his game as a defensive catcher.
Yeah, I think if you need to get some runs here, I think stealing would be a good thing to try, especially with no outs, just to see how it goes. We've got some good base runners coming up in the lineup, so I think when a couple of these guys get on base, whether it be by hit, error, or walk, I think you do want to test this catcher out stealing, especially if it's going to be an outside pitch. We've seen a lot of outside pitches, a lot of low pitches, so if you do steal, it's likely to be a ball in the dirt, a ball in the backstop anyway, so they might want to try it out.
Feels like we're in total control of this game because we've struck out every batter that they've sent to the plate, and we had 4 consecutive runners reach base in the bottom of the first, but it's only a 2-0 game, so we certainly have plenty of work to do to secure this victory.
Yeah, that is something to be wary of, because sometimes when it feels like you've got total control of the game, you think you can ease up a little bit, not go quite as hard, but the Tigers, like you said, still definitely a close game. East Nashville still very much in this game, so they can still do some damage. And now Grant Riley, the freshman shortstop, steps into the box. That ball outside, 1-0 count now. And if it weren't for that, I don't want to say fluky, but strange double play, it'd probably be more like a 5-0 game right now. That ball in the dirt once again, 2-0 count.
That's the thing, when you have potential for a big inning, you really want to make sure you don't lose opportunities like that because they don't come along every inning. You got to maximize all those situations.
You hate to leave runners on base, and unfortunately that's what they did there, but they can certainly get him back here. That one's going to be a strike. He looked at it. Was a bit of an outside pitch, but still definitely in the strike zone. I don't blame him for watching that one. Sometimes hitting those outside pitches opposite field aren't the easiest thing to do. So now he's got a 2-1 count. 2-1 pitch. That one is going to hit the plate and bounce up into the chain link fence. So 3-1 now. This is a true hitter's count. And we'll see what Grant does with it. Three-one pitch high, and now he'll go to first base, as that was ball 4. Now stepping into the box, Harry Fitzgibbon, brother of former USN middle infielder Liam Fitzgibbon. He's not a middle infielder, he plays left field, but he does wear the number 7 that his brother Liam once wore. And now he steps into the box. Owen taking a lead at first base. Not Owen, apologies. That's Grant. Bit of a larger lead than we usually see, but he doesn't steal. And that's going to be a strike on the first pitch. The 0-1 pitch. High and outside. He throws it back to first base. Grant just barely got there in time. He took a big lead, took a big secondary lead. He had to really sprint back, and if that throw from the catcher was a little more on target, first baseman had to really reach out and get it. If that throw was a little on target, Grant was toast. But he's lucky to stay alive this time. He's still on first base. And still no outs.
Yeah, I give credit to Grant there. That throw did beat him by a little bit, but he was able to get down nice and low under the tag. Well done.
A good job to avoid the tag by the freshman Riley. And this time Riley's going to steal, and he'll get there standing up as the ball hit the catcher's mitt, but as he tried to reach for it to throw it down to second base, it fell out, hit the ground. So now runner on second. And we're right. You were right about that. It was good of them to test the catcher's ability. He showed right there, at least in that play, that he doesn't quite have the transfer skills of, say, a Nathan Woodard to throw a guy out like that. So we could see the Tigers exploit that throughout the game. And here comes a bunt. He squares around, pulls back. That'll be a strike. So now he's got 2 strikes on him. Likely not going to square around this time. But it looks like they try to advance Grant to third base there. And now we have got a 2-2 count. The 2-2 pitch, low, swung on, popped up in the infield. That one's caught. Grant trouts back to second base. 1 out. That was Chris Smikes, the second baseman, who made that catch on the pop-up of Harry Fitzgibbon. And now Quinn Powers, another sophomore, steps into the box. Steps off, tries to get Grant, tries to catch him napping, but Grant gets back to second base in time. Now he comes set once again. Grant taking a huge lead from second base. We'll see if he tries to steal, if they do some kind of bunt and steal. They don't. Pitch is high, going to be a 1-0 count. Quinn Powers does not square around. We'll see if he does this time, but it looks like they're just going to let him hit. The 1-0 pitch, that one is in the dirt, and this time Grant's going to steal, and he'll get there easily. Rounds third base, looking to go home, but he's not going to get that. So now we've got Grant on third base. That pitch got by the catcher, rolled up the backstop, and near the USN dugout down the first baseline. So now runner on third base. And Quinn Powers is going to try to drive him home. Swung on and missed. First strike of the at-bat, so it'll be 2-1 now. He squares around a bunt, and he lays it down, trying to get on the first base line. Grant's going to score. They throw him out at first base, but the run scores. So good sacrifice from Quinn Powers. 2-1 pitch. He lays it down in between the pitcher and the first baseline. Catcher throws him out, but not good enough to keep USN from scoring their third run of the day. So we've got 2 outs, but 3-0 is the score.
I like the decision by the catcher there. Take the out. It's a tricky play to try to hold the runner at third and not just let the runner get to first for free. Now you got 2 outs, no one on base. Good situation for the defense.
Now Brock Burgess is in the box, another sophomore. That ball's going to be hits the dirt low and outside. And you're right, the catcher, you want to take the out because if you try to hold him to third base, if you do succeed there, then you get a runner on first and third. He's likely going to steal, so now you get 2 runners in scoring position, and they could both score the next play if Brock drives him in. So good decision by the catcher. That ball bounces before it gets to the plate. It's a 2-0 now on Brock. The 2-0 pitch. That one's going to be low once again. 3-0 is the count. And apologies, this is actually Mahoney Donick at the plate. It says Brock Burgess was going to be the 10th batter in the lineup, but it's currently Mahoney at the plate. Now he'll get a walk, 4-pitch walk for Mahoney. And now Owen Block, the pitcher, who is just as good of a hitter as he is a pitcher, steps up to the plate with a man on first base. Mahoney takes his lead from first base. And they try to pick him off. He gets back standing up. He got back standing up, but it wasn't too comfortable of a play. They could have gotten him there. And usually what they teach you is to dive back to first base. And I'm sure that's what they're going to tell him when he gets back to the dugout. So still 0-0 the count. No pitch has been delivered to Owen Block yet. And here comes the first. Mahoney going to steal now, and he gets there. The throw was there, but it wasn't caught. Trickles into the outfield. If the throw was a little more on target, or if the shortstop was there in time, we probably could have seen Mahoney get thrown out. But he gets there regardless. So runner on second. We got an 0-1 count. That pitch was a strike, but Mahoney advances to second base.
I might have seen that incorrectly, but it looked like the second baseman was coming over to try to put the tag on. The throw was well placed to the inside on the runner's side of the bag. Had the shortstop been the one to field it, might have had a chance to have Mahoney there, but it was behind the second baseman, got into center field.
That ball is going to be low. Yeah, it looked like there was a miscommunication between the middle infielders there of East Nashville. Something you see early on in the season. Some issues like that still need to be worked out. And you do see that early in the year in spring baseball. So nothing too uncommon, but you do want to get that worked out eventually if you're the Eagles. So a huge lead now for Mahoney Donick at second base. Now the middle infielders will work to keep him close. Takes an even bigger secondary lead, but no steal. So 1-2 is the count now as Owen Block watched that one go by, and it was in the strike zone. So 1 ball and 2 strikes now on Owen, 2 outs, and a 3-0 ball game. Another big lead for Donick at second. And he drives that one deep into left field. That one could be gone, but it's going to be caught near the warning track. And that's out number 3. That was a deep, deep drive from the pitcher. Looked like we could have seen our first home run of the season on the first game of the season. It just did not have quite the length that it needed for that. It was really close. If the fence was a few feet in, that's a 2-run homer. But unfortunately, he heads back to the dugout, and now he's going to head back to the pitcher's mound. 3-0 will be the score as we head into the 3rd inning.
And left fielder had to keep his eye out. He had to look for where the fence was there because he was drifting back towards it. Probably only about 10 feet between himself and the left field fence in the corner. But just enough room to make the play and retire the side.
Yeah, and how amazing would that have been had he hit that home run to strike out 6 out of 6 batters and potentially get some more strikeouts here as we head into this inning, plus a home run. That would be a day he'd never forget. And he could still make it a day he's never going to forget with this pitching outing. But that would have been absolutely fantastic. Still a great hit. Still something to celebrate and something to build on. But just did not have quite the oomph that it needed to get over the fence. So no substitutions for the Tigers. We've still got Brock in right, Mahoney in center, Harry in left. Colin France playing first base, Townsend at third, Grant Riley at shortstop, and Quinn Powers at second, of course, with Owen Block as the pitcher and Nathan Woodard as the catcher. So to start the 3rd inning, we have looks like a ball.
I think he offered to bunt there, and I couldn't tell if he offered enough for a strike to be called. I thought so, but I'm not sure.
That one's going to be swung on and missed. It was a high pitch, but he took a hack at it. Carleon Smith is the batter here.
Scoreboard showing 0-2 count now. So the first pitch was a strike.
Yeah, hard to tell if he pulled back in time or not, but he did not apparently. So 0-2 count for Owen to work with here. And he strikes him out. They throw it around the infield now. 7th strikeout of the day. That one was outside, but perfectly placed. Tried to get the batter to chase it, but he didn't even need to anyway, as it was called a strike looking. So another backwards K for Owen Block. And we head into the 8th at-bat of the day after another strikeout. That ball high and outside, 1-0 count. Elijah Usher stepping into the box now. He is the right fielder. 1-0 pitch swung on and missed by Usher. 1-1 now. That one, he looked at it, but it's called a strike anyway. 1-2 count. Another well-placed pitch, that one on the inside corner. So it'll be 1-2 now for Usher. That one, that'll be strike 3. Umpire didn't give a super clear signal for a strike or not. That one was on the outside corner, but another really well-placed outside 3rd strike. 8th strikeout of the day for Owen, and he is having a great day from the hill.
Yeah, certainly a first in my time as a USN sports fan to see 8 for 8 strikeouts to start a game. Pretty remarkable.
Yeah, 8 for 8 outs in any high school baseball game is pretty rare, but 8 for 8 strikeouts is even rare, especially from a sophomore pitcher. This guy is a special talent, and he's proving it today. The 1-0 pitch, he looks at it, and it's a strike right down the middle. So Jordan Crawford now with a 1-1 count. That one high, 2-1. That one strike right down the middle, 2-2. East Nashville doesn't love to. He's throwing a lot of great pitches right down the middle. East Nashville choosing not to swing at him, a bit puzzling. But he's giving it to him. He's giving him pitches to hit, and they seem to not want him. So 2-2 count now. Swung on a miss, 9th strikeout of the day for Owen Block. Incredible way to start this game for the sophomore arm. That is unbelievable.
And we sort of commented on it early in the game that if the first batter saw a couple of different pitches from Owen, but really I think since that first batter it's been almost exclusively fastballs, and East Nashville's just behind all of them. They haven't been able to catch up to him yet. They've barely even been able to manage the occasional foul ball.
Yeah, and it's hard to tell from where we're situated whether or not the pitch is a fastball or if it's a breaking ball, but you're right, ever since that first count, I haven't seen a single breaking ball from him. It's been all fastballs, but it's working for him. He's throwing them with great accuracy and great pace. So Owen having a tremendous day so far. 9 at-bats, 9 strikeouts, and his pitch count can't be too high either, so we might see a couple more innings from him.
It would be great if we could get the offense in rhythm as well. You know, if this game ends up being only a 5-inning game, we might see a perfect game, and even something rarer than that, a 15 strikeout perfect game. Wouldn't that be something?
That would be probably the only. That would be the first time I've ever seen it, and that might be the only time I ever see it, especially at the high school level. But that would be a sight to see. And so far, the offenses look good, but they've left men on base. They've left runs off the board. So you want to see them capitalize on all their chances, and that could come back to haunt them. I mean, if Griffey comes off the mound and their relief pitcher starts throwing more accurately, or he throws with some more pace, and we can't get any hits, that could come back to haunt the Tigers, and they could end up playing a full 7 innings when the game really could have been over in 4. So you want to see him put them away early and put them away now, as now the senior Nathan Woodard, the catcher, steps up to the plate.
So is that the rule? I may have been mistaken that you can mercy rule a team after four innings. Is that how it works?
Well, I'm not quite sure what the exact numbers are, but I do believe if you're up after a certain amount in 4 innings, it'll be over. I certainly know in our intra-squad scrimmage, when the white team was up 19-2, the game would have been called at that point if it were a real high school game. Not sure what the official TSSAA run rules are, but this game could be over early if the Tigers capitalize on all their opportunities. And he opens the count with a ball outside, ball low, so 1-0 count now for Nathan Woodard. Second pitch, swung on, and it's grounded to second base. He's going to try to run this one out. Flips to first base, not going to get it. 1 out. So Nathan, he had a ground ball to second. That ball, it did die pretty early in this wet, grassy infield, but the second baseman was able to get there in time and retire the hitter. So now we have 1 out. Aiden Savona, the designated hitter, and the cleanup hitter, steps up now. And that ball goes at his feet. It'll be a 1-0 count. The 1-0 pitch. He looked to that one go by, and it'll be ball 2. Looks better than some of his other pitches, but still not quite in the strike zone. So 2-0 hitters count here for Savona. He winds up and deals the 2-0 pitch. Swung on, grounded to third base. He fields it, throws it all the way over to first, and he retires Aiden. 2 at-bats, 2 outs for the Tigers, so far not getting quite the offensive mojo that we'd seen earlier. And now Townsend Stevenson, the number 5 hitter, another power hitter on this team, will head to the plate.
An unspecified supporter of USN Athletics has texted me to inform me that the mercy rule is 15-run margin after 3 innings.
Wow.
And 10 runs after 5.
So, considering the beginning, and that's going to be a ball low, considering the beginning of this inning with the 2 quick outs, we might not see such an early run rule for the Tigers, but who knows? By the time we get to the 5th inning, the Tigers could have a 10-point lead. But it's looking like it might be something more like 6, 7, or 8.
I'm not sure you could give a pitcher a perfect game in 3 innings either, by the way. But although for whatever reason 5 feels like you could.
Yeah.
That's just my instinct of it. Who knows why?
And if the Tigers were to go on a crazy run here and score 13 runs straight while getting 0 outs, I mean, it would be a perfect game for Owen. He did throw nothing but he got nothing but outs, and in addition to that, nothing but strikeouts. But we're likely not going to see that today. But who knows? It is still in the realm of possibility. That ball going to be low and inside. 3-0 count now for Townsend Stevenson. He hasn't been given a lot of pitches to hit today, and he's the guy who he doesn't like to walk in base run. He loves to get those doubles and triples. He's a big hitter, and he loves to get around on the ball and drive it deep in the outfield, hit those gaps. So he wants to be given something to hit, but so far he's not getting it. The 3-0 pitch, that one's going to hit the dirt, so he'll walk once again. And now Colin France, who flew out to center field last time, will step into the box. France and Stevenson get their signs from Coach Gimblett, and now France will step into the box. First pitch of the at-bat. High, it'll be ball 1. The 1-0 pitch, he deals. He looks at that one go by. It's a 2-0 count now as that ball was low. He was smart to watch that. Was on the verge of being a strike, but that's what we call a good eye. He made a good decision not to swing at that one. It was not swing worthy, and it's a good call by the first baseman. 2-0 pitch. That one's down the middle, and he'll foul it into the backstop, so 2-1 count now. First strike that Griffey's thrown in quite a few pitches.
Yeah, a lot of times I don't know how Coach G feels about it, but Townsend walked on 4 pitches. If you throw a couple of balls in addition after that, you just keep sending up take signs, force that pitcher to throw a strike. Don't give him anything for free.
Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Swung on and hit up the middle. Almost caught by the second baseman, but it hits the ground, so it'll be runners on first and second now. Looked like they could have gotten, it was a line drive to second base, and looked like it should have been an out, but it was dropped, so now runners on first and second. I agree with that to an extent, but I think 2-0, it's a real hitter's count, and obviously Griffey hasn't been super accurate. I don't know if I'd give him a take on the 2-0 count. 3-0 or 3-1, definitely a 3-0 count I'd be telling him to take. And even on the 0-0 pitch, or the 1-0 pitch, I might be telling him to take, just to basically don't swing until they give you a strike. So there's multiple ways to go about it, but I certainly see what you're saying there. Runners on first and second now. Grant Rowley at the plate. Strike 1 there. Ball was on the outside of the strike zone, but in the strike zone for sure.
Griffey may be starting to show signs of some struggle. His delivery looks a little bit more labored than it did in the early game. Struggling a little bit more to find the velocity that he had in the first inning.
And here's the 0-1 pitch. Hits the dirt. Townsend will try to get to third base now, and he will, standing up. Runners on second and third now, so 2 runners in scoring position. They've been in this position before when they left them both on base. after that double play in the first inning. We'll see if they can drive him home this time. And you're right, the pitch count's got to be pretty high now for Griffey on the mound. He's thrown a lot, and the arm should be getting tired, especially as this is early on in the season. I don't know if this is East Nashville's first game, but it is USN's first game, and it's certainly early in the year, whether it's the first or not for East Nashville. So we might see Griffey head to the dugout soon. That pitch swung on and missed. So it's 2-2 now on Riley. Or no, it'll be 1-2. Apologies. The freshman shortstop can drive in 1 or 2 runs here. He makes good contact with it. That ball's going to be outside, so 2-2 count now. Still got to be swinging at anything close to the strike zone, but that one was not close. Good decision to take that one. So now he's got a 2-2 count. 2 runners in scoring position, 2 ducks on the pond, as they say. And now he comes set. Delivers the pitch low and inside, almost hit Riley's feet, so full count now for number 5. It'll be interesting now. You definitely do want to swing at anything close when you got 2 strikes, but after throwing all these balls, I could see a walk coming. Grant's still ready to hit anything close. He still wants to hit for sure here as he digs into the box. Pitch is high, he will walk, and now Harry Fitzgibbon will step up to the box with bases loaded. So a drive here, potential single or double, a solid base hit could give the Tigers a serious boost and put the score, get their tally to something around 4 or 5. So we'll see what happens here with the full count. But obviously with full count, or not full count, with bases loaded, you can throw somebody out anywhere. So ground ball in the infield would be the worst possible scenario, or second worst really, behind a strikeout. 1-0 is the count now, as that ball wasn't too close to the strike zone. Now he comes set to deal the 1-0 pitch. That one's going to be high. And now they throw over to first base. Grant gets back in time standing up. That's the second time he's almost been caught. And now they're going to score a run. Townsend Stevenson goes into home plate. They threw it to first base. First baseman fell down. The ball was just sitting there. USN took advantage of it. Townsend Stevenson saw the open home plate. He took it. So now the score is 4-0, and they've got runners on the corners.
That's good aggressive base running, and a little sloppy from East Nashville. It was a collision between Grant and the first baseman, and as you put it very well, the ball just kind of lingered on the ground in the vicinity of the first baseman, but he let it lie there on the ground for a little bit too long. Townsend with a very sharp play to take advantage of it, get home, and another intelligent play to hustle over to third base as we have a straight steal of second. Oh, and here we got it. Ball's thrown into center field. Collins going to score. Grant advances to third base as well. So just like that, from 2 outs and no one on base, Tigers load them up, and before even a hit or walk is issued in that bases loaded situation, 2 runs score on a couple of pickoff attempts.
Another run scores there. We apologize, our mic cut out for a second, but there was a pass ball, run score for the Tigers. 6-0 the score now.
Yeah, we loaded the bases up. No hit, no walk. All 3 runners scored just on simple base running plays.
So Harry's still up at the plate. We have a 3-1 count. He thought he had a walk there. but the pitch was called a strike. That one, he'll get a walk this time. That ball was low and in the dirt. So now we have a runner on first base. 6-0 is the score. Still 2 outs. East Nashville could have kept a few of those runs off the board, as they did have 2 outs for a while. But they let them score. Now it looks like we're going to see a pitching change from East Nashville, as we see a pitcher trotting on the field from the bullpen, but he heads back to the dugout, so we're going to see a little bit more of Griffey before this game ends. Runner on first base. Quinn Powers at the dish. Swung on, foul tipped.
You've had some good calls during your distinguished career here in the booth, Reed, but if we score 13 unanswered runs with 2 outs to end this game, that would, without a doubt, be your greatest one to date.
Yeah, that would be something pretty unbelievable if they were to come up with. And now they throw it back to first base. And it'll get by, so now Harry Fitzgibbon's going to run to second base, and they try to gun him down, but he outruns a throw, and he gets there in time. Yeah, if USN were to come up with 9 more runs in this inning while having 2 outs, that would be pretty unbelievable. And that would be something I've never seen before in a baseball game. Having 2 outs and scoring, would it be 12 runs in 1 inning?
Yeah.
That would definitely be unprecedented, at least for me. And we would love to see it. So that runner on second base pitch is going to be high. So looks like we got a 2-1 count now with Quinn Powers at the plate. Harry taking a huge lead from second base, nobody holding him on. And now he's going to steal. Popped up into left field. It's in the gap between third base and left, and it'll be caught by the third baseman. So that'll end the inning. But 6-0 to score now, as USN picked up 3 runs, all from good heads-up base running plays. Coach G, I would describe him as a base running coach. He loves to use base running. That's one of the focal points of his game. So he'll certainly be happy with this inning. And they really stole 3 runs from East Nashville, as they had 2 outs. But they were able to come up with 3 runs after both of those outs had happened. So a great way to end the inning for USN, and certainly they would have loved for Harry Fitzgibbon to score there and to not leave that runner on second base, but they will certainly take it, as they very well could be heading into this 4th inning with a score of 3-0. Now it's 6.
In the past, I've had the occasion to go out and have some dinner with Coach G after a baseball game, and he loves to recap the tales of the times that USN baseball schemed up a run on the base paths. So I know that he's going to be very happy with the way, as you put it, Reed, that USN manufactured those 3 runs in the bottom of the 3rd. That's going to make him very happy.
Yeah, the end of that inning, that reminds me of my freshman year. It was our senior night. We played against Mount Juliet Christian. We won the game, I want to say 5-3, something like that was the score. And if I recall correctly, we didn't get a single hit all game. All those runs came from walks, sacrifice bunts, great base running plays, and some good awareness on the base paths. And that's certainly something that Coach G was happy with on that day, especially on senior day, to be able to come away with a win that we really snuck by him. So that does remind me that a lot of runs from plays where we just take advantage of their mistakes. And that is a great memory, that win against Mount Juliet Christian.
Always special to get a win on senior night. Doesn't always happen, but it's nice when you can get it.
Ball's going to be foul tip. Now we start the top of the 4th inning. Owen Block, so far he's struck out every batter he's seen, and Griffey is back at the plate. Lawrence Griffey, the pitcher, who's likely going to no longer be the pitcher as we head into the bottom of the 4th inning. He's got to be taken out soon. As you imagine, there's a lot of fatigue on his arm. But he's at the plate now. He's got 1 strike. The second pitch swung on a miss, so it'll be an 0-2 count. Owen definitely loves to work with an 0-2 count. Something you love as a pitcher. You don't have to fight back in the count. The 0-2 pitch high, and he watched it go by. Nathan had to really reach up to get that one, but he came down with it. So we have a 1-2 count now. And Griffey steps out of the box. Owen came set. Now he steps off the rubber. Lawrence Griffey now steps back in. And we're going to see the 1-2 pitch here. One-two pitch swung on and missed. Another strikeout for Owen. 10 strikeouts. As we've seen from throughout the day, he just keeps on mowing them down, and East Nashville can't come up with a solution. This is fantastic from Block.
Yeah, as we said, it's just fastballs. I would say Coach G's calling a great game from a pitching standpoint, but he might have called 50 fastballs in a row. All credit to him for making that decision, but Owens made it easy on him.
And here we see the first pitch will be a low ball, so 1-0 count. But yeah, fastball after fastball, and they can't come up with a solution for it. He's definitely throwing these in the high 80s, potentially low 90s. We don't have a radar gun with us, but that is around the speed he throws, and it's just fastball after fastball. The Eagles can't even make contact, and now he does make contact. He grounds it to the pitcher, and now he flips it to first base. So Owen, first out of the day that wasn't a strikeout, but he retired him anyway, as it was a 1-3 ground ball. So now 2 outs. His strikeout streak is over. Of outs is not, and still no runners have reached base for the Eagles as we reach the third batter of the 4th inning.
Clearly Owen's starting to show some signs of fatigue as he struck out 10 in a row, and then that time was unable to get a strikeout, was forced to get the 1-3 put out, ending a very remarkable streak.
And if you couldn't get the strikeout there, that's about as perfect as a play as you can get. A ground ball to the pitcher, always easy to put away. And now the next batter, that ball right down the middle. He's still got all the velocity he had earlier today. And Deshaun Campbell can't do anything about it. 0-1 count. Swung on a miss, Deshaun Campbell. Second strike of the at-bat. So 0-2 count now, another count Owen loves to work with, just like he had in the first at-bat of this inning. That ball foul-tipped, hit the back netting. 0-2 still. Owen comes set for the 0-2 pitch. And he deals. That one's going to be outside. 1-2 now. Still certainly ahead in this count. Still in control here against Campbell. The 1-2 pitch. Strike 3, caught him looking, another backwards K. 12 outs, 11 strikeouts. He keeps the streak going. Owen Block has been omnipotent today.
Now, just to show me up a little bit, that was not a fastball. That was a little breaking ball of some sort, and the batter was totally caught off guard by that pitch, frozen in place, as you said. That's a backwards K, and that was a thing of beauty. In addition to all the brute strength that we saw with the fastball strikeouts early on, a little bit of artistry with the breaking ball there. Love to see it.
Talk about catching a batter off guard. I mean, he's thrown about 40 fastballs in a row, and now he throws the breaking ball. Looked like that one was a curveball. It looked to have some dip on it. Could have been something as simple as a two-seam fastball or a changeup. Not quite sure from the broadcast booth, but it definitely had some movement. That was a great pitch, and the batter did not see it coming at all. Nothing Deshaun Campbell can really do about that one. And he retires the side once again. Like I said, 12 out strikeouts. This is just unbelievable.
Yeah, we do have a pitching change here as we go into the bottom of the 4th. I can't make out the number of the player on the mound. but Tigers will be facing a new pitcher from the Eagles to start their half of the fourth inning.
Looks like it's Rodney Mitchell, number 33. Once again, hard to tell. We're out here in center field, so we can't get a great read on it, but it looks like we got 2 3s in the back of that jersey, so I think it's Rodney Mitchell for the East Nashville Eagles. They definitely needed a pitcher change, and they've got one now.
Decent turnout at the game. Nice to see some families still in town. Of course, USN is on spring break, as I imagine all of you are aware. But the bleachers about half full, and then a scattering of parents and other fans along the fencing on the third base side, and even a few also on the first base side. So probably about, 60 people in attendance today in support of today's game.
And USN would love to be playing baseball at Myrtle Beach or some sort of warm beach baseball destination, but obviously that's not possible this year. And they're just happy to be playing some kind of baseball. Last year, their spring break trip to Myrtle Beach to play a few baseball games was canceled, of course, with the beginning of COVID lockdowns in the United States. So this year, just happy to be playing some baseball. They're having a great day so far.
It would be hard to imagine that the weather in Myrtle Beach is much better than it is here. Probably a 70-degree day, partly cloudy, little breeze, as is the familiar case here at the River Campus. Great day for some baseball on opening day.
Yeah, especially in comparison to yesterday. It was raining, but now the sun has come out, and it is a great day for baseball. About 70 degrees here at the River Campus. And, with the low elevation of the River Campus, you usually don't see temperatures this great, but it is a warm, just overall great day for baseball here at the USN River Campus.
Technically still winter, I guess, but you would never guess it. Perfect spring day. Definitely feels like spring.
You're definitely right about that. And now we're about to start the bottom half of the fourth inning. Rodney Mitchell on the mound. They throw it down to end the warm-ups. And USN is ready to hit again. So Mahoney Donick, the leadoff batter for USN, steps into the box. Going to see the first pitches from Rodney Mitchell today for East Nashville. That ball is low, 1-0 count. Unlike some of USN's pitchers, Rodney Mitchell does pitch from the windup. We've seen more and more USN pitchers who like to go from the stretch, whether there's runners on base or not, but Mitchell going with the traditional windup. That ball inside, and it hits Donick, so he'll be headed to first base. Hits him right on the hip. That one might sting a little bit, but he's glad to get on first base. USN glad to get another runner on, and now Owen Block, the pitcher, who's had a decent day at the plate, almost had a home run earlier. He steps into the box now.
Tiger bench always loves it when a Tiger gets hit by a pitch, so they were enthusiastic for how the bottom of the fourth has started.
Yeah, and if he were to move out of the way of that pitch, we'd hear a lot of shouts for Wear It, telling him to take the hit by pitch, take first base, but he did take that one well. Now he runs to second base. They try to gun him down, but once again, the ball is bobbled by the catcher, and now it goes back to the backstop. He could have gotten to third base if he really turned on the jets, but he decides to take the safe play, just stay at second base. So Mahoney Donick on second base, Owen Block at the plate, and we're ready for the 1-0 pitch. That one outside, 2-0 now. Mahoney, a dangerous base runner, taking a big lead once again. Pitcher takes a look at him, But he deals, and that's an inside pitch. Will be called a strike. Owen thought about swinging. He turned his shoulder a little bit, decided not to pull the trigger. And you could say it was the wrong decision, as now it's a 2-1 count. Mitchell trying to keep Donick honest at second base, trying to keep him from taking too big of a lead. And he deals. That one, second hit batter in a row. Owen Block now hits him in his left shoulder, and he's headed to first base. So now 2 runners on. Glad that Owen is not a left-handed batter, and that one didn't hit him on his right arm. And now we'll have a meeting at the mound. That's 2 hit batters in a row for Mitchell. His accuracy was looking better than Griffey on the mound, but it doesn't really matter how many strikes you throw if you hit a batter on the following pitch. So now, the catcher will trot back behind the plate. And Donick and Block will take their leads from their respective bases. Nathan Woodard at the plate. He swings, and that one will go out of play. We have a 1-0 count after that foul ball. Steps off, runners go back to the bases. 1-0 count still on Woodard.
It's got to be part of what Coach G likes about having Mahoney in the one hole. Is Mahoney is very aggressive on the base pass. Big lead, can really get into a pitcher's head.
Ball is high and outside, 1-1 count. And you're right, Mahoney is a tall guy. He's got long legs, definitely a threat on the base paths. Looks like a fast runner. Definitely intimidating to have a guy like him on second base, especially taking a lead as big as he is right now. 1-1 pitch, and he drives that one to third base, but he will be thrown out at first base. Runners advance second and third. I got to admit, I'm kind of surprised Chaz Adkins, the third baseman, didn't go step on third. He totally could have, as Donick was... He hadn't beat him already. He could have tried to tag Donick or stepped on third before he throw it to first base. He decided to just get the simple out at first. Kind of a questionable decision from the third baseman, as now we have 2 runners in scoring position and only 1 out. Aiden Savona, the DH, steps up to the plate.
It did look like he had either option. Looked like he could have tagged Mahoney, was right by him, or just stepped on the bag, as you said. And, did well to get 1 out, but he definitely got the harder one of the 2.
Yeah, the first pitch, going to be a ball high, 1-0 count, and it looked like he could have got a double play. It looked like he could have taken both there, or at the very least gotten a lead runner. Maybe he didn't realize it, or he just decided it was easier to go to first base, but now there's runners on second and third. 1-0 pitch, outside, 2-0 now. Ball goes over the pitcher's head, and Donick almost, he thought about going home. He took a few steps, but the second baseman was there in time. And so we still have runners on second and third. Score is still 6-0. And Aiden Savona is still at home plate. And Aiden swings at that one, and he fouls it off into the back netting. So he's got 2 strikes, or no, he's got 1 strike, 2-1 count. My apologies. I think this is the 3rd time Rodney Mitchell's had a 2-1 count in these early at-bats. And he's hit the batter the last 2 times, if I recall that count correctly. 2-1 pitch. That one was inside, swung on, and he hits it up the middle. Short ball to the shortstop, and he's going to beat it out. 1 run scores. Owen advances to third base. Aiden gets to first base, and that is that wet grass coming in to help USN. The ball, it was in between. It looked like Mitchell could have got it from the pitcher's mound, but it was a bit too far outside. And there's really nothing Crawford could have done at shortstop to throw him out, as the ball was so short, and Aiden was really already there at first base by the time a play could have been made. So 7-0 now for USN. They score another and they advance the runner to third base. So we might see an interesting first and third steal play here. Ball high, but it's going to be called a strike. Aiden stays at first base. Not sure if it was a miss sign or if that was intentional from Coach G. Aiden not taking too huge of a lead. Doesn't steal. Now he does steal, but the catcher's just going to hold on to it. Probably did not have a play there anyway. They haven't thrown anybody out at second base yet, and especially on a first and third play. You don't want to be too crazy throwing it down. To second base. So now 2 runners in scoring position, and Townsend Stevenson, a power hitter, is at the plate. 1-1 count on the third baseman. And that one went behind him. Now Owen tries to score, and he does. He slides into home. Aiden advances to third base, so now 8-0 is the score. Solid run there. That ball got by the catcher, hit the backstop, couldn't get back to it in time, and USN increased their lead from 7 runs to 8. So still a runner in scoring position. We still have Aiden Savona at third and Townsend at the plate, so we could see a solid RBI here and a nice base hit as Townsend. He's been really itching to get a good pitch to swing at all day, and he hasn't gotten one. That one gets by the catcher. Aiden tries to get home, and this time they're probably going to get him. They apply the tag, and he's out. Looked like he could have gotten under that tag because catcher, he didn't try to throw it back to the pitcher. He just got in there on the tag on his own. Probably was not the best decision to go and score on that one. As the pitch hit the backstop, but it came right back to Campbell. Campbell hustles to home plate, gets there in time, applies the tag. So no 9th run for USN. Now Townsend's got no men on base and a 3-1 count.
Yeah, you called it very well. Bad break for USN, good break for East Nashville.
Gets a hold of that one, but it'll be a foul ball. Lands in the softball outfield.
The ball caromed off the backstop just perfectly into the glove of the catcher for East Nashville, and he was able to sprint back to the plate before the runner could score and tag him out without the help of the pitcher.
Yeah, that's something you love to see when you're on defense, and obviously you hate to see that when you're in your own offensive dugout. 3-2 pitch popped up. Looks like it's in fair territory. It'll be caught, and that's the inning. Rodney Mitchell gets the out, so 8-0 as we head into the top of the 5th, and we'll see if Owen Block comes out to pitch once again or if we get a new pitcher.
I didn't see anybody throwing in the bullpen for USN. Doesn't mean that we're definitely going to see Owen, but that would be my guess at the moment.
And apologies for the motorcycle driving behind us on the road out here at the River Campus. You can still probably hear him riding away. Apologies for that.
As some of you may have heard Mackie Luffman near the booth earlier. That could be him on the motorcycle. We don't know.
So it looks like Owen is going to pitch another inning. We head into the 5th, and he trots out to the mound. So we could see a little more. I don't want to say the 2-word phrase that begins with the initials PG because I don't want to jinx it. But we could see the extension of that game from Owen and that streak. We would love to see it. So he's got 12 outs, 11 strikeouts, no men on base, and the one that wasn't a strikeout is a ground ball right back to him that he threw out at first base. So great game so far from the young pitcher, and hopefully he can keep it going here.
You know, some guys will try to win, the ERA award for lowest ERA, but I think Owen, to his credit, kind of feeling confident in his ability to lock that award up. He wanted a sort of Gold Glove award as well. So he forced himself to field his own position with the ground out to the pitcher, in addition to the 11 strikeouts that he's tallied in the first 12 batters of the game.
Great player. Obviously, you've seen today the kind of pitcher he is. He plays shortstop usually for the team when he's not pitching, and he can really hit the ball well, too. He's the second batter in the lineup for a reason, and he's really showing off today. So now they throw the ball down to second base. That is the conclusion of the warm-ups for this 5th inning. And hopefully we can see some more magic from Block, the pitcher. Jordan Houston stepping into the box for his second at-bat of the day. He struck out last time, as I'm sure you could infer. And he deals. Big lefty took a swing at it, and it goes back to the backstop. It was foul-tipped. 0-1 count.
What I really like to see is how solid Owen's pitching form is. You see, as you commented earlier, very compact motion, and he really drives with his legs very well. That really gives him a lot of that speed that he's able to generate.
Yeah, he's got great mechanics. The 0-1 pitch, high and outside, 1-1. So he's had a great game so far, throwing strikeout after strikeout, but lately he's starting to get in less favorable counts, more 2-2 type counts. So if he keeps that up, his pitch count might get too high too soon. There's a strike. 1-2 count. He swung at that one and missed it. So maybe not. But I got a feeling this 5th inning might be his last. There's obviously, you want to see this great game extended for as long as possible for him, but you also don't want to throw his arm out this early in the season. So whether if the game goes into a 6th inning, we might not see him then, but the game could end after this one. We'll see. Batter called time. The pitch was given. Owen did throw a pitch, but the batter and the umpire were out. Batter was out of the box. Umpire took a step away. So the pitch doesn't count. Likely would have been a ball had it counted. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. And he strikes him out looking. Perfect ball outside. He threw it right on the edge of where that right-handed batter's box would be, as we have a lefty batter. So 12th strikeout of the day, 13th straight out for Owen Block on the mound. And now stepping up to the plate, Chaz Adkins.
I believe in his first at-bat, he struck out.
I think you're correct. I think you are correct about that. Well, I know you are, because we've only had one that wasn't a strikeout. Here's the first pitch, swung on a miss, 0-1 count. Yeah, looking at any batter stepping into the plate, if you had to guess what their last at-bat's outcome would be, strikeout is your best bet. I believe it was Ace Watson who grounded it out to Owen. That one's going to be grounded to third base. Looks like it's in foul territory. It is, so 0-2 count now. Looked like that could have been their first man on base, as that ball was right down the line, and Townsend, he could have made that throw, but obviously there's a possibility there could have been a mistake there. And it wasn't the best angle. It's a tough angle there at third base to make that throw, but it was out of bounds, or it was out of fair territory. So now it's 0-2. We've got one out and an 0-2 count. He deals the 0-2 pitch. Ooh, I thought that was strike 3, but it's low and outside, ever so slightly outside of that strike zone. I thought that was going to be strike 3, and he was going to ring him up with a dramatic strike 3 looking call, but we did not see that happen. So 1-2 count now. Swung on, grounded in between first and second. France, he falls. Owen was there at first base to try to get the out, but it will be an error, so he's still on for a no-hitter, but the perfect game is ruined as Chaz Adkins reaches first base for the first time today for the East Nashville Eagles. That's a tough ball. It's right in between the pitcher, first baseman, and second baseman. Colin France went for it. Didn't have a great angle on it, but nobody really did, honestly. Owen got to first base, and he tried to turn around in this wet grass. It makes sense that he slipped and fell. So now they're going to square around to bunt. Smikes squares around, trying to get Adkins to second. Nathan going to throw it down to first base. Gets back in time.
Yeah, that was going to be a tough play. You know, even if Colin had been able to keep his feet and field it cleanly, as you said, Owen did a great job getting over there to cover. He was in plenty of time, but it was going to be tough to turn around and make a good flip in time.
That's a tough placed ball. You know, we saw that work out to USN's advantage earlier in the game, and now it works out against them. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and it's going to be a strike. Well-placed, low strike, 0-2 now. They've still got one out, runner on first base. And it's 0-2. Owen steps off. First time he's had to deal with a runner today, but Adkins, he's a catcher, and he's more of a power hitter, not the biggest base-running threat you got to imagine. So nothing too harsh for him to have to deal with. Swung on, fouled, and it goes, looks like that one landed on the softball field. It was fouled far into the right side of foul territory. 0-2 count still. The 0-2 pitch, no, he tries to pick off first base. Adkins dove back in time. He didn't have too huge of a lead. Had little trouble diving back to first base. So Owen does not get that out. But he can get an out here. He's got 2 strikes on Smikes. And the ball gets by Nathan. Adkins will steal second base. He gets there. Not the fastest runner, but he didn't have much trouble as that ball was at the backstop behind Nathan Woodard, who was behind the plate. So runner on second now, still 2 strikes. It's a 1-2 count for Chris Smikes, second baseman. And now Nathan will go meet with Owen. Hasn't really been need for a lot of pitcher-catcher meetings between the two today, as Owen's been near perfect all day. We see the first one here, and now Nathan trots back.
Probably just working out the signals. First time a runner is advanced to second base in the game, of course. So probably just working out that end of it.
Yeah, we may see maybe the second or third breaking ball of the day here. Haven't had to see a lot of them so far, as the fastball has been near perfect. Fastball low in the dirt. Adkins will steal third. Nathan tries to gun him down. Townsend blocks it. That ball took a skip as it got to Townsend Stevenson. That could have been a mistake that led to a run. Would have been odd to see if he does end up getting the no-hitter, a no-hitter where a run is scored. But now it could certainly happen. It's a 2-2 count for Smikes, and there is a runner on third base. So potential pass balls, he's thrown 2 in his last 2 pitches, could result in a run here. Swung on, fouled into the chain link fence. 2-2 still. Two pitch swung on, missed. Strike 3. 13th strikeout of the day for Owen, and they've got 2 outs.
I was just thinking it might be the case that I was starting to see Owen sort of shorten up his pitching stride, rely on his arm a little bit more than his lower body after I had given him the compliment earlier. But he really went through a nice motion, delivered a perfect pitch on that 2-2 for the strikeout.
Now as Elijah Usher steps up at the plate, strike 1 on Usher. How great would it be to see him get a strikeout or some sort of simple out here, and then USN scores 2 runs to end the game with a run rule and the next inning? I would love to see that happen. Would complete the no-hitter for Owen. 0-1 pitch, low outside, 1-1 now. And you obviously want to end the game as soon as possible too, just for the sake of arm strength. You don't want to fatigue his arm and don't want to pick up some sort of injury here this early in the year, especially when he's clearly going to be one of USN's top arms moving forward. Strike 2, swung on and missed, right down the middle.
It would be my guess, Reed, that whether the game goes only 5 innings or the full 7, that this inning will be the last we'll see of Owen. That's my guess.
I agree. And now we've got a 1-2 count for Owen. Let's see if he can retire the side here. High check swing, but not enough to be called a strike. 2-2 count. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Strike 3. 14th strikeout for Owen, and this is just unbelievable. He's got the no-hitter, and if USN can lock the game away right now, that will be a no-hitter completely. Would be incredible to see the first game for Owen and the first game for the whole team of the year go down as a no-hitter. So hopefully we can see USN put 2 runs on the board and get that mercy rule.
Yeah, we could go into our second game of the season saying Tigers yet to allow a hit all season. That'd be pretty special.
That would be a great stat to be able to. And that is the game now. It looks like players lining up, and yeah, that is the game now. Bottom of the 5th, and I haven't seen a signal from the umpires, but USN lining up now in the outfield. Their whole dugout clearing out, and they'll go meet with Coach G. So that is the game. Owen Block, no hitter. Would be a perfect game if it weren't for that one error, but you can't blame him too much. It was a tough play. Incredible way to start the season, both for Owen and the Tigers as a whole. We didn't see really anything from the rest of the Tigers' defense, but on the offensive side of the game, USN was pretty good as well. They got 8 runs in 4 innings at bat, so definitely a great rate of scoring for this team. Great signs moving forward. Great things to build on for the Tigers baseball season, and you know Coach D is going to be proud of his team. Still, definitely some things to improve on the base paths, and you can't leave too many runners on base to end the inning, but a tremendous, tremendous way to start the season for USN. Any final thoughts, Dr. Fitz?
Well, just everything you said was just right on the money. Sometimes you want those little mistakes to happen in the early games where you have a comfortable win like this one, just so you can talk about that teachable moment, as you often like to say. And, in the big games, the close district games that we're certainly going to have later in the season, we'll have learned from those mistakes, hopefully, and we won't see a repeat of them in the situations where it can't happen.
Yeah, and you're right. Sometimes you do want to see a few simple, easily correctable mistakes early on, just so that you don't get too confident in yourselves. But USN certainly has a reason to be confident that this season will be a good one after they open the season with an 8-0 win over the East Nashville Eagles. No hitter for Owen Block. Several players scoring. Lots of great offensive stats for the team. So, once again, great way to open the season. And it's been a great day for USN Baseball, great day for USN Spring Sports. Thank you for tuning in to USN Broadcasting's radio broadcast of USN Baseball. We'll be here next time, and hopefully we'll be here for many more USN athletic events this spring, and we can have video for those events. But once again, thank you for tuning in. For Dr. Fitz, I'm Reed